What you're about to watch is my exact setup on how I plan and track all of my tasks as an engineer. Team, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I appreciate you, but this is a channel where we talk about actionable insights and tips and just general other things and topics in the engineering community. Today, I'm going to show you my exact setup on how I organize my chaotic life, plan for my projects, my content creation endeavor, and just pretty much everything else. Going forward, this will be a reoccurring series as we walk through all of my process, 100% transparency, and how I actually apply all of this to my real life. This isn't a 30-day challenge with made-up projects and fake data, but will evolve and grow as needed to facilitate things like this channel growing. So let's dive into 3 categories: the tools, the workflow, and a review process to make sure all of this is actually working for you. So let's talk about the tools. Hands down, this is the most important part of the process, and not because I think you need fancy tools. Hell, you could 100% use a paper calendar and a pen and just manually track all of this down. Because if you don't find the right tool for you, all of this will become nothing but a blocker. And I have tried dozens of tools: Apple Notes, Evernote, Google Calendar and Tasks, Trello. None of them has satisfied my need for speed, ease of use, and to be that all-in-one stop for both statusing tickets and storing documentation. And then I started to use Notion. And I can already hear you, everybody and their freaking uncle uses Notion. And trust me, I have found myself in some stupid complex Notion templates with 45 different views and 18 nested databases and automation and process for every little bit of information you're putting in there. It was exhausting.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
So much so that I got completely turned off from what the hell I was trying to do that I just stopped using the tool entirely. So let's walk through my new minimalist setup that has just a few bells and whistles. To start, you need to download 2 tools: Notion and Slack. You can follow along with me, but once you've downloaded Notion, you need one simple Notion template. So head over to the template section and search for calendar. And some of you probably already see and got excited because you saw social media content calendar. Skip it. I promise you, skip it. It already has more bloat than you need when you're starting out and is only going to offer more distractions and layers of confusion. So stick with me. Pick the basic content calendar and move on. We're gonna do just a small amount of setup. One, I'm going to rename this content calendar demo, just so if you're creeping in my Notion sidebar, you're not getting confused on where the hell I am. The view of by status is totally obnoxious to me. In the engineering community, we just call this the Kanban board. So let's rename that. While we're in here, we need to fix a few properties. Remove the assignee and the deadline property. You're very likely a team of 1. It's always going to be assigned to you. You don't need this property. You're never going to use it. And rather than leveraging deadlines, we're going to leverage the publication date property. If you want to take the time now to flat out delete the deadline property, go ahead. I promise you, you'll never use it. Lastly, as I mentioned, we're going to leverage the publication date. So go ahead and pull that one into your shown properties. And the publication date is the property that's actually going to be tied to the calendar display. Next, we're going to delete a couple views just to clean up your space a little bit. You'll never use these. So go ahead and delete the assignee and the deadline calendar. Next, just so we can start fresh, we're gonna delete all of this crap generated template content. And I've found the easiest way is to head over to all projects, select all the rows and click the trash can, and everything now is deleted. And now we can head back over to the Kanban board to finish the last step. Let's tidy up the columns. Go ahead and hide the no status column. You'll never use this. And pro tip, if you cannot see the 3 little dots when you hover over the column, just make your browser a little bit bigger. Your browser is just too small and Notion is deciding just not to show it to you. Now we're just going to introduce a single new column called To Do. Think of this as your tasks and projects that you're actively going to be working on in the next week or 2, and then the idea column being your backlog where you can hold things there forever if you'd like. To finalize our board in the process, we're going to set up a couple tasks and templates for the content you're actually going to be generating. Be super strict here. Be very real with yourself and get rid of all of the other things that you're not going to be doing. So we're not podcasters, at least I'm not. And we have no sponsored posts, so just go ahead and delete those templates. Just for the aesthetics, because we care about aesthetics, we're going to rename the blog and the video to match our platforms. I'll give a quick plug here. If you've not subscribed to Sunday Snapshot, it is my weekly article that I drop every Sunday. The link is down beneath the subscribe button. On the final cleanup here, let's just remove the types of tasks that you're never going to do. Don't care about Threads, don't care about X, don't care about Facebook. This is just bloat. It is going to cause you way more wasted time because it's very likely if you're publishing to one, you're just going to copy and paste and publish to all of them. So keep it simple here. Get your main ones. If you have a blog, keep the blog post. If you have a YouTube channel, keep the YouTube channel, but make these match the core elements of the platforms that you're trying to hit. And flat out delete the rest. I promise you, you won't use them and it's just going to waste your time. And while we're in here, before we move on, let's go ahead and set up a quick integration. From within any page of the content calendar or demo or whatever you have named it to, go to the 3 dots in the upper right, click add connections, and specifically search for Zapier. And that's it. Your content creation machine, your project task management system, whatever the hell you want to call it, is done. This is your new minimalist system for tracking all of your things. But now let's move on to the workflow and how you might actually use it. Your workflow can be as complex or as easy as you want, but I promise you, this is the biggest pitfall that you can fall victim to. And hell, I was a victim of this for a very long time. So listen carefully. If your workflow is not easy enough, not approachable enough, if it doesn't mesh into your lifestyle and not disrupt it dramatically, you are not going to use it. That is the secret sauce of all this. Keep it simple, keep it approachable, keep it easy, or I promise you, you just won't use it. And to help speed up some of that rapid idea ingestion, this is where Slack comes in. So once you've downloaded Slack, we're going to set up a Zap. If you're unfamiliar with Zap, it is a badass integration tool where you can connect tool A to tool B super seamlessly and have events trigger and do actions, and it's just super cool. You don't need to pay for this. It is completely free for what you're using. They have premium features, but you don't need any of them. So head over to Zapier.com, authenticate however you want, and copy and paste the prompt I put down in the description below directly into the AI beta features that they are providing. Thanks, ChatGPT. And the prompt goes as follows. I want to integrate Slack into Notion such that new Slack channel messages are published to a Notion database. And just like that, Zapier has created all necessary components to set up this integration, and you just need to configure it. By clicking on the Slack stage, you can authenticate your account however you'd like and choose the channel you want to track. I specifically set up a Notion channel in my Slack, but general or whatever the heck you want to call it is going to all work just the same. Move on to the next stage and finalize the configuration for Notion. Once again, authenticate however you'd like and choose the database for the content calendar that you just made. This will be abundantly obvious because whatever your content calendar is called is what you will see as the database name. And if you are not seeing anything here, you've either authenticated to the wrong Notion or you skipped a step setting up the Zapier connection that we did earlier. And before you move on, here's the important bit. Do not skip this next part. Scroll down and find the status field and set it to idea. This selection is what's going to allow you to populate your backlog of ideas every time that you post a message into that Slack channel. And that's it. That is your rapid idea ingestion workflow. And this means whether on your phone or on your desktop, anybody that posts a message in your Slack channel, that content will make its way over to your idea column in your Notion database. And here's a hot take, pro strat for you. Go ahead and share that Slack workspace with whoever you'd like. Set up multiple channels and multiple Zapier integration pipelines to do different things. For example, if you wanted to track your family tasks, you need to go buy toothpaste at the grocery store.
Uh-oh, you found the toothpaste? Let's get one thing clear. I can brush my teeth all by myself.
In a more manageable way without using Apple Notes and still allocate this information alongside all of your content creation and other personal projects. Set a family channel up in Slack, create a new Zapier pipeline just like we did before, but go ahead and add an extra task or tag in the Notion configuration so that all of the messages in that family Slack channel get tagged appropriately. This is going to allow you or your partner or your kids or whoever to post content to that channel, and you know it's going to make its way over to your Notion database. Now you have a fully integrated, all-in-one minimalist system with a couple bells and whistles for rapid idea ingestion. From here, let's talk about your review process. Your review process is your weekly, bi-weekly, that's what I do, or your monthly gut check. First and foremost, by just you allocating your tasks, writing them down into Notion, and most importantly, assigning a due date or publication date to them, you are already making huge leaps and bounds to actually getting shit done. When you're not seeing the tasks flow through the columns and you get to the end of your bi-weekly cadence, you have visual proof of what you should have been working on, and that's going to allow you to ask the internal questions of what the hell was I working on? So if you're an engineer, you're probably already familiar with this process, but here are 4 L's that you can leverage and ask yourself to help you reflect. And I really do hope that these are the only L's that you're catching. The first L, liked. What did you like? What went well over the last 2 weeks? These are the things that are going to energize you and bring you joy, and oftentimes are going to reflect key pillars of who you are and what you're trying to achieve. Learned. What did you learn? In my experience, if you're remembering 1 or 2 very specific things, whatever it was had a truly meaningful impact on you. These might be areas in which you want to explore more. Number 3, lacked. What was missing? What was unclear? Is there a gap in your process that left you stranded? These are your very quick action items for what you can fix in your next sprint of effort. And last but not least, number 4, longed for. These might be beyond those quick little fixes and really highlight some strategical changes, or give you the opportunity to say, you know what? This whole process isn't working for me. I need to pivot and try something new. Going over those 4 L's is going to allow you to have a real read at your process and your systems and overall your general workflow. This is going to give you that reusable metric, that constant thing you can keep coming back to, that you can count on over and over again. So that's it. That's my exact process on how I track all of the chaos in my life, whether that be on personal projects or things I need to do as a dad or things I need to do as a husband, and how I organize into bite-sized chunks so that I actually get it done. And as always, if any of that resonated with you, drop a comment down below, hit me up on Threads, and if you could, subscribe to this YouTube channel. It means more than you could ever imagine. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.